Now we're going to work on taking the movement apart, and it's going to start by removing the bezel. Now the bezel is this ring that goes around here. It holds the glass to the clock face. So what we need to do to remove the bezel is we need to bend all these tabs upwards. Okay, so the thing about these tabs is they can only be bent so many times. After they've bent a certain amount of times, they're just going to snap off, which is not a good thing. So what we want to do is we want to be gentle, and we want to bend them the minimum that we have to in order to remove the bezel. Now, what a lot of guys will do is they will leave two or so, however many they can get away with, unbent, and this helps to prolong the life of the bezel. So I just want to bend them as much as I need to get the bezel off of here. If I just yoink these out, could have this done in 2 seconds, but I want to be gentle because I don't know if I'm going to have to take this apart again or not, or somebody down the road is going to. And when the tabs break off of the bezel, there's no good, easy way to get them back on. It usually just means finding another bezel. So there, I got the bezel off, and see we have the lens. Some people call this a crystal. What I find is with watches, they tend to call this a crystal. With clocks, they tend to call it a lens. And I'm going to put that over here in my box along with the bezel. Next step is going to be to remove the hands from the face of the clock. Now, one way to do this is get a piece of cardboard, okay, and have holes in it. And what you do is you slip it over the hands. Then you've got to find something really skinny, like a small flathead screwdriver. All of these hands are pressed on. So what you have to do is you have to move them a little bit at a time, going around, pushing up. And they're held on by friction. So we don't want to bend the metal that is holding on to the post there, because then when we go to put the hand back on, it might not hold on there, and then we have to adjust it, and it's a big pain. So the reason I use this cardboard is in case my hand slips. I don't want to gouge the face of the clock. All right, so there is the second hand, or the sweep hand, okay, removed. Now I'm going to show you. I don't use the cardboard and the small screwdriver. On eBay you can get these really cheap. They sell them under watch repair as opposed to clock repair, but they're these sort of tweezers designed to remove the hands of a watch or a clock, and they're really cheap. So I don't remember how much I paid for them. It was a couple bucks, I think, maybe $1.50. But what you do is you get on there and then just rock back and forth, and the hands will come off a lot faster, a lot less effort than using the cardboard. So that was the minute hand, and now I'm going to take off the hour hand. And once I do that, the face comes off of there. So I'll just tell you that what I'm going to do with the face when I take it off, and actually also with the lens, I'm just going to slip it into a plastic bag. I don't want anything to damage this before reassembly, so I just put that in a sandwich bag, keep it safe. I'm going to do the same thing with the lens. Keep that safe before I get a chance to clean it. All right. So now what we have is this right here. And this part that you're looking at on the schematic is number 2, the front plate assembly. In the schematic, it's square, but it's the same thing, okay, whether it's round or square. And this front plate is held to this part right here, which on the schematic is number 9, the base plate assembly. Okay, so I just call this the front plate and this the base plate or back plate. So what we have to do is take out these 3 screws. And when we do that, the front plate and the base plate are going to separate. All the parts inside of there, the gears of the clock, are going to be loose. So I'm just going to, what I'm actually going to do with these particular screws, I use a larger size screwdriver. Works a little bit better. So I'm going to take out these 3 screws and I'm going to put them into my small parts container so they don't get lost. And when I get to the last one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this whole thing upright. And that way, when I take off the last screw, it won't pop apart and I won't have gears and such flying all over the place and rolling off the bench. So there's the last one. And I'm going to take this up, hold this straight up and down, and then grab the base plate and pull up. And there you can see the inner workings of the clock. And there's the front plate. So I'm going to just move the front plate now into my box for safekeeping. And now what I'm going to do is take the movement apart. So this is the situation with these kitchen clocks, real basic. This, first of all, is number 3 on the schematic. It's called the indicator assembly. I call it the power indicator. So I want to take that off and put it to the side. This right here is number 4, okay, the hour hand sleeve. So this is, the hour hand is going to connect to that. We just pulled the hour hand off of that sleeve. Now the next one that has to be removed is actually number 7 schematic, called the set gear assembly. So we're going to take that off. Okay. The next thing that we take off is number 5, which is the minute hand sleeve. So there's the minute hand sleeve. That's what the minute hand, we just pulled off the minute hand off of that. And then finally there is number 6, which is called the sweep second hand shaft. Okay, I just usually call these gears, like the hour hand gear, the minute hand gear. Now the sweep hand or second hand shaft, it is underneath this and it has a bit that comes through there. So to get it off, what you have to do is you have to lift it, kind of jiggle it to the side until it pops out of that hole right there, and you can move it out from underneath this gear. So that's what the second hand attaches to. All right, so the rest of what's on here is all staked on, meaning it's like riveted on. You can't take it off. So this right here, this base plate, is going to be washed, cleaned as a unit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my hands and, just for safekeeping, put them in a plastic bag. I'm going to put the power indicator right here into my small parts container so it doesn't get away from me. And my next step here is to clean the sleeves, the base plate, and the set of gear assembly. Now, I have a ultrasonic cleaner, and I actually buy this really expensive clock cleaning solution, which is, the last time I bought it, it was $100 a gallon. So maybe, you know, you don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, or maybe you don't want to go that way, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you that these clocks are so hardy that you can clean these parts with lacquer thinner, okay, or you can use carburetor cleaner or even brake cleaner, as long as you get off any of the old grease or oil that are in there. Your clock should work properly. But I'm going to use this, and the reason why is because I just like when it comes out of there, it looks brand new. So important thing to note is we do not want to run that through an ultrasonic cleaner or hit it with brake cleaner or carburetor cleaner or anything like that. This is paint. We want the paint to stay on there, and if you use those chemicals, you're going to get the paint's going to fall off. Okay, so this is something I clean by hand if it needs to be cleaned. I'll take a Q-tip and some lacquer thinner and just clean it up until there's any gunk that's on there is off. There are some things I'm also going to throw in to the ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, all the screws, washers, field posts are also going to go through that. I'm not going to do that to the set knob. Okay, the set knob I'm going to clean by hand with first Brasso, and then I'm going to go in with a chemical called Telechron and just polish it up. So this is a Telechron polish. Very expensive, but it is amazing what it'll do these parts to clean them and shine them up. All right, so next I'm going to have my rotor ready to flush out and be prepared